Before I open the hearing for the Barnstable Conservation Commission, I would like to ask George to do a roll call for the quorum purpose.
Albedili?
Present.
Foster?
Present.
Gilmore present. Hearn?
Present.
Lee?
Present?
Moran?
Present.
Sampu?
Present.
Administrator Darcy Carley?
Present.
Staff member Kim Kavanaugh?
Present.
You're all here, Mr. Chairman. The floor is yours. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Acting under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and Chapter 237 of the Code of Town of Barnstable, the Barnstable Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, June 20th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. for the application of Jeffrey Becker, John A. and Colleen J. Boselli, Barbara N. Kecknick Murphy. The hearing will be held remotely as televised on Channel 18. The plans and application are on file and may be reviewed by scheduling appointment by sending email requests to Darcy Curley at 230 South Street, Hyannis. This meeting is being recorded and transmitted by the Information Technology Department of the Town of Barnstable on Channel 18. Under Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, anyone else desiring to make such a recording or transmissions, please let Channel 18 or I know. Hearing none. This evening's hearing agenda is posted on the town website. On the agenda, next to each application is the amount owed to the Town of Barnstable for the cost of advertisement. Please send your checks to Conservation Division at 230 South Street before the hearing. Remote participations. The Conservation Commission's public hearing will be held by remote participation as a result of an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency signed up by the governor on March 29, 2023, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Remote public access to this hearing shall be provided in the following manner. 1, the hearing will be televised by Channel 18. Second, the real-time public comment can be addressed to the Conservation Commission utilizing the Zoom name 893-9959-3835 or use the toll-free phone number 888-475-4499 as shown on the agenda. The public can also email their comment to darcy.curley@town.barnstable.ma.us at least 8 hours prior to the hearing. Tonight's hearing is the last one for the Commissioner Moran. His term will expire by the end of June. Larry has been with the Commission for 17 years. Thank you for your service to the Conservation Commission and the town. Under the first NOI tonight, John A. and Colleen J. Boselli has requested for a continuance without testimony to July 11th, 2023. On the agenda tonight, we have 2 open meeting law violations complaints filed with the Conservation Commission. In discussing with the legal department, I strongly recommended that the commission voted to delegate the open meeting law violation complaints to the town's legal department to respond to those 2 open meeting law violation complaints. This type of complaints has legal nonsenses, and there are many procedural requirements. Therefore, it is best to be handled by the legal department. Kate is off today and Charlie is here just in case that we have any questions for him. We are not going to discuss the email that Larry sent out this morning. We are only dealing with how to respond to those open meeting law violation complaints. Are there any questions for Charlie?
Tom?
Yes, John?
Yeah, I read those complaints, Shirley. I'm not an expert on open meeting laws, but I read both those complaints. It's clearly that the second one seems to be just a repeat of what was in the first complaint. My sense, Shirley, was that there's not a lot of merit to either of those complaints, but I'm really glad that we've got you or Kate who's going to be handling these things, because it's certainly not something that I, as a commissioner, want to be involved with in any violation like that. But as I say, in my humble opinion, they really don't lack a lot of merit, and look forward to a very strong defense of that, Charlie.
Right.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, John. Our recommendation for tonight, and in part, but not exclusively, driven by the fact that Assistant Town Attorney Kate Conley is traveling and out of town with her kids on a college orientation program. We will be in a position to involve our office vigorously. I think Tom's observation and John's with respect to the technical requirements and so forth are well-founded. And my recommendation respectfully to the commission for this evening is that in separate votes, you would vote to delegate to the legal department the investigation, reporting, analysis, and official responses for consideration and potential adoption by the Conservation Commission. And if someone could, through you, Mr. Chairman, make a motion to that effect, why don't we break it up with respect to the open meeting law allegation of Commissioner Larry Moran, move to delegate for the purposes of investigating, reporting, and response to the legal department.
I would make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Roll call.
Cavadili,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Gilmore, aye. Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Moran,
Abstain.
Sampu.
Aye.
That motion carries, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
And
Go ahead, Charlie.
And thank you, Tom. With respect to the open meeting law violation complaint filed with the Conservation Commission by Attorney Brian Wall on behalf of JMS Holdings LLC dated June 9, 2023, that we move to or entertain a motion to delegate to the legal department for the purposes of investigating, reporting, and responding to the complaint of Attorney Brian Wall.
I'd make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Roll call.
Cavadili,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Gilmore, aye. Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Moran,
Abstain.
Sampu.
Aye.
That motion carries, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Tom. I'm available to you. I see that you have the DPW matter regarding dredging
Project.
and so forth, and that's on for a continuance. Do you need any input from me on that?
No, I think we all set.
Very good.
Yeah.
I'm available if anything comes up. Don't hesitate to give me a call. I'm here tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Charlie.
Nice to
Charlie.
see you all. Thank you.
Yep. We have one RDA tonight, Jeffrey Becker. Proposed septic system upgrade at 1344 Main Street, Route 6A, West Barnstable, as shown on the assessors map 177 parcel 006. Dan?
Good evening, Chairman Lee, members of the commission. For the record, Dan Ojala. I'm a land surveyor and a civil engineer with Downkeep Engineering in Yarmouthport, and helping Mr. Becker out with a simple septic upgrade at this property. This is out in West Barnstable on the north side, so they've got some funny soils on top. We actually had about 11 feet of clay, but then broke into some beautiful sand, no groundwater. So we have a good solution. It's just you gotta dig a little bit to get to it. There was an upgrade that was done not too long ago in a lower area. There's some thought that some surface waters might have been getting in there and contributed to a somewhat early failure of that one. So we've brought this one up a little further away and put it up on a hill. The only thing I'd note on this one, we'll probably end up talking to the owner. It'll be the identical plan, but I think we're just going to introduce a pump chamber combo instead of the tank and drop the line. It's a little bit of a tricky run here because the pipe.
Dan, do you mind to share the drawing?
Oh, yes, sorry. So share screen. Oh dear, it says it's disabled. Is anyone able to do that one, or can Darcy pull it up?
Stand by. Sorry, Dan. I was in the main session. All right. Try now.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
So here is the site. You can see we're up on 6A, getting towards West Barnstable Village, a little bit northwest of Garrett's Pond. Just before you go over the railroad tracks on 6A. So it's up the hill, nice prominent high spots. So we get nice gravity flow down. But to get it over to this area here, we had to raise the grade just a smidge. And the owner would rather not do that. So it'll be even less disruptive to the environment. We'll simply bury it 5 feet down below the frost line in that area and button it right back up again. That's the area where we'll be pumping and filling the existing system. That's it. Again, we had some great test holes. You can see down, once we get 11 feet down, it was beautiful coarse, medium coarse sand all the way down, 4 or 5 feet plus. And should be no issues with this system working well. It's just a matter of getting it from the house down to that place. And we think the way to do that is probably, hopefully Darcy could just administratively approve swapping out the tank for a pump, a septic tank pump chamber combo, and then simply dropping that pipe below grade. Everything else will be identical to what's on the plan. There's a salt marsh way to the west. But you can see, and there's a state coastal bank at the flood zone. It's not a particularly steep hill. We're still 100 feet away from that, and that's a dry resource area. Just down from that, there are some a little BVW that creeps up from the salt marsh. The tight soils tend to hold that, but again, we're more than 100 away, except for just a smidge where we'll be doing the removal. So work limit line, this would typically fall into your RDA filings. Some of the lesser filings as we're in the outer marking, and no new bedrooms, is just an existing flow straight upgrade. Be glad to answer any questions if you have them. Thank you.
Dan, so you want to use a pump chamber, right, with the septic combo?
Yeah.
I think you should file. I mean, you can submit a revised plan if we're approving it tonight. I mean, that's
I would
easy.
be happy to do that. Yeah, we'll want to do that anyway. Yeah.
Okay, Bill.
It's probably just my ignorance, but I was wondering where the leach field literally was. There's that box that's over. Well, now you're showing that, but that box that's right there, is that a septic tank or is that a leach field? What is that symbol?
Yeah, so that's represents 2 500-gallon galleys with a 4 foot of stone. It's pretty much identical to what we're proposing now. And that we did that, I forget if it was, I'd have to look, but back in 2010, I think. So it didn't last too long. So we're moving it to a little more advantageous spot, but that's the old one there in the light font, and the heavier font is the new one. And the old tank is right here in the light font, and the new tank is here in the heavier font.
So the leach field is what? Right in that lower corner, if you will?
Yeah, it's kind of in a valley. You know, as you, the 6A goes through a cut of a hill here. And so we're a couple feet higher than the low spot. And hence that funny little, where the pipe just about came out of the ground, and we had to put insulation over it and stuff. So to avoid that, we're just going to drop that pipe down below the frost line and pump it over there. The owner would rather see that than a little mound.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the commissioner?
Just say, thank you, Tom. More from my information, Dan, than any relevance to this from a conservation point of view. When you put in that pump, doesn't that require a significantly greater maintenance program? Again, that's more from my information than relevant to the application.
So yeah, it is. It's a little bit more of a maintenance, but that's just contrasted to, you know, we put a little 6-inch culvert in case some stormwater runs through, so there'd be some maintenance related to that. So the yin and the yang of it, the owner thought that it'd probably be all right. Generally, the pump, you inspect it once per year just for operation. And we usually get 10, 15 years out of a pump. And we put a little quick disconnect. So you just unscrew it, lift it out, put a new one in, screw it on, and you get another 10 or 15
Do
years.
they have to put an alarm system on those or something?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, there's a simplex alarm and a high-level alarm, so that you'll know if it fails. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for that information, Dan.
Yep.
Any other question from the commissioner?
I have one.
Okay, Luis.
So what happens if you have a power outage? with
So
your,
the way that works is you can have two things. You could have a generator set up, but what we always do, and he may have one anyway that could run it. It's only a 0.5 horsepower pump. But the other thing is you create a big enough chamber so that you have 2 days worth of flow that can go in there. And Title V flows are a little higher than your actual flow. So you'd have a few days before hopefully it wouldn't be longer than that before the power came on. If it, in this particular case, it would probably flow by gravity, just as an inverse siphon. But in most cases, you're in trouble. You'd have to have a pump truck come or hook up a generator. We always set them up so you can hook up a portable generator and run it. And then even if the neighbor's got a generator, you can wheel it over, run it, bump it down, and then he gets his generator back.
thank you.
During the power outage, assuming depending on whether the home has any well pump, the private well or not on the pump, if there is no power, there is no water to the house. So your wastewater is going to be less and you're not going to worry too much on that one. Unless,
Good point. Yeah. And that's
So-
the case here. If it's a whole house generator, you'd want to make sure it runs both the well and the
Right. Any other question from the commissioner? Channel 18, any public comment on this?
Seeing none.
Could I have a motion to approve this project as a negative determination subject to receipt of a revised plan?
So moved.
Second,
Roll call.
Foster,
aye.
Sanpu,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Abadili,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Gilmore, aye. That's unanimous.
Thank you. Good luck. We have 2 NOI tonight. The first one is John A. and Colleen J. Basali to permit and maintain the expansion of existing floats at 183 Bay Street, Austerville, as shown on the Assessors Map 117, parcel 152. The applicant has requested for a continuance without testimony to July the 11th. Could I have a motion to approve the continuance to July the 11th without testimony?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Sanpu,
Aye.
Gilmore, aye. Foster,
Aye.
Abadili,
Aye.
that's unanimous.
Thank you. The second NOI is Barbara Ann Kecknex Murphy, rents and replace existing single-family dwelling, wetland restorations and mitigation planting at 21 Lookout Lane, Hyannis, as shown on the Assessors Map 325, parcel 103. Dan?
Good evening, again, Chairman Lee and members of the commission. For the record, my name is Dan Ojala. I'm a land surveyor and civil engineer with Downcape Engineering in Yarmouthport, and we're helping the folks at 21 Lookout Lane, which is Barbara Murphy et al., with permitting a replacement home on the property. This is in that off of Lewis Bay, the little densely populated area. What really helps this out is you're on town water and on town sewer. So unlike the last project, you've got a little bit less concerns with trying to site a septic system on the property. You can simply connect to the town sewer out front and in that manner, not worry as much about setbacks. Here we're in a flood zone and we're impacted by a little BVW that's in the rear of the property. It's kind of an interesting property. There was an old fence there. It was replaced, another fence replaced it some years back, but we've flagged that as that fence is actually being in the wetland. Dry times, it doesn't look like it, but the soils and the evaluator did determine that was a wetland. So we're going to go and restore a historically mowed area that's technically within a wetland in the back. So we think that that'll be a project benefit. We're also introducing a fully flood zone compliant foundation so that we feel that will be helpful in getting everything up above. The slab will be above the design flood elevation, which is base flood +1, so it'll be 12.1. And so in that manner, fully comply with the new FEMA regulations. The existing dwelling is 16.1 feet from the BVW at its closest in the back. You can see that's the dimension here. The new one will be, I believe it's 19.2 feet at its closest. We'd go further, but as you can see, it's a very tight site. We're right up against the 20-foot front setback on the street here. The lot's only about 100 feet deep. We've gone through with a narrative. 17.3 is the closest point. I'm sorry. And some others, I guess it's 19.2. Oh yeah. Down here, there's a little corner that's a little bit close. There's a little bit of a finger that sticks in. So other than that, it's 19 foot clear. We went through with the narrative, the effects on erosion control and wildlife. We're introducing a work limit line. We did speak with Darcy a little bit. The fence that's existing there would probably not want to move that. So we're going to do maybe a single rail out and then put a vegetative strip. One of the things that we look at with these is, well, besides putting in roof dry wells and doing what you can to mitigate the site's impact on the wetland, you also look at any hardscape and try and mitigate that. Here, it's pretty minimal. There's a decrease within the 50, which you look at with a sharper pencil at 13 square foot. 50 to 100, we're going up just a little bit. It's 1380 existing, 1577 proposed. That's 197. And so you end up with needing 539 square foot. We're at 600 square foot of mitigation, and then would put a single rail fence along the edge of the plantings there. So it's at the discretion of the commission. If you don't mind us leaving that fence, we'll leave it. If you'd like it removed, it's kind of a white plastic fence in the wetland area there. We'll take it out. You know, it would certainly impact a little bit taking it out, but maybe a long-term benefit. But yeah, your call on that. The planting detail here, we show both the historically mowed area being restored, which we're not taking credit for that, and the lawn that's getting pulled up and planted. We are counting that, but the planting plan does cover the both with the counts there. We're going with sweet pepper bush, pasture rose, winterberry, black chipberry, and northern arrowwood, which is a nice viburnum high-growing plant for some vertical diversity. And of course, you got a big canopy behind that, so no real worries about the songbirds finding a nesting spot on this one. It's towering over that back. So that would be what we would have on this one. I'd certainly be glad to answer any questions. Again, work limit line, we're trying to tread lightly on it, increasing at a 3-to-1 ratio for a little bit of new hardscape, new dry wells, flood compliant, on sewer, on town water. So I think we're doing everything right, but we'd certainly be glad to entertain any suggestions and answer any questions if you have them. Thank you.
One thing I noticed is there is no hail bale line for your new constructions against on the wetland side between the wetland and the house building.
Yeah, fair point. We were going to run it right along the fence line, and the fence, the fonts didn't come through well, so I can darken that up if you'd like. But that would be right against the existing fence, so we can just pull those posts out.
Yeah, but that's a resource area, isn't it?
So you know, your call. If you want an upgradient to that at the oh yeah. You should read my plan. Propose single rail fence along edge of planting. So that right there is that's where we'd put the silt fence. I don't think that the plantings being in a level spot would warrant a silt fence, and it would mess up the wetlands to your point. So we'll run it along that single rail fence. We'll be glad to plan with a note to that effect.
John?
Dan, when I was talking to you today, it looks like that white fence was more of a community fence. Am I right? It seemed to go around to at least 2 or 3 of the other properties that were adjacent to this wetland. So I think tearing down the fence would not make any sense at all in this. And I'm okay with the project as you proposed it. I think that it's a gain from an environmental point of view. And I would absolutely leave that fence in, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I know it's got a good space under it for the small critters, and it does keep people the heck out of that area. So,
and it does go to multiple properties, does it not?
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't recall having, but looking at it, I think you're right. It kind of, whether it keeps dogs and stuff out of there, it may well be a benefit.
I'm sorry. No, I'm just going to say it was that fence goes around at least to 2 other properties that are adjacent to this property. taking down one piece of this fence would make no sense at all to me.
Right.
Louise?
Well, I was going to say just the opposite.
Great minds think alike, Louise.
I take it out, just because, for the long term, you've got this plastic fence there in the middle, not in the middle, but in the resource area. So I would take it out and move it, landward or toward the new building. If it were my project, that's what I would do. Thank you.
Thank you, Louise. Darcy?
Yes, thank you, Tom. Dan, I just realized that the data sheets that Brad Hall used, I know you wrote down who did the flagging, but these are not the correct data sheets. We sent out a notice to everybody that they need to be doing the current data sheets that DEP expects. So we need to have those submitted, done the correct way for this application.
Yeah, is there any grace period? Because he did these about a year ago. Is there any grace period on these? Because we didn't budget for that, but I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You have it 7/16/2019.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I will accept these, but just be on notice that
You want
we will need to have the new sheets in the future.
Excellent. I really appreciate your efforts on that.
Anything else, Darcy?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna split the baby here, maybe, Abbo. Louise, or actually, I'm Dan talking to you. How come, or explain why, because I don't want this to be a big hassle. Explain why the white fence can't be moved to where the picket fence is going to be.
Well, certainly you can do anything, but our thought was that's pretty close to the house to have a 6-foot big vertical. It's going to look, very close to the rear deck, and so we didn't know how that would, visually look. Whereas it's already in place, and
Okay, I'm cool with where it is.
Yeah.
I wanted an explanation there, though.
Yeah, but we'll have viburnum and everything in front of it, so it'll blend in, I think.
It's got all the mitigation going right in front of that fence, right, Dan?
Yeah. So it'll integrate in, I think, pretty well, and there's room for the critters to get under it.
Well, there is a lot of space under it. You can see that in the pictures too.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the commissioner? None? Channel 18, I just want to go to public comment first before I come back. Channel 18, any public comment on this?
Yeah, we do have a couple of butters present. David Sell was first up. David, if you want to unmute and let us know if you got any comment or question.
David? Kim, do we need to know the address?
Can you hear me?
Yes, David?
Yes, if we could get your name and address.
Sure. My name is David Sell. I'm a neighbor of this property. My address is 44 Island View Road. So according to this picture, I would be west of the property at northwest corner. I share on the back fence, maybe the top 5th portion of the back fence there.
Okay.
And yes, in our neighborhood, we have this common white plastic fence through multiple properties in this block. And so regarding specifically the question of the fence that came up, for appearance of this neighborhood, keeping the same lines of the existing fence would probably be look visually more appropriate for this community.
Thank you. Channel 18, any other comments from the public?
I have additional questions regarding specific to Daniel O'Hala regarding this build, because this is the first time I've seen these plans, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
So again, I understand for these plans that, Dan, you're going to add a 2nd floor to this 1-floor building?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And is there going to be a deck or a widow's nest on top of the roof of this building now?
We're fully compliant with the height regulations. I don't know about a widow's walk. The Conservation Commission does look a bit at aesthetics, but this is, not right on the water or anything. It's back. It's a tastefully done home. I don't believe there's any occupiable items up above on that.
I'm just curious. Several properties in the neighborhood do have widows' walks already that are not on the shore, so it wouldn't be that unusual. So I was just curious. I was concerned about the observation from the top of this building onto the neighboring properties. That's all.
Yeah, well, there's there is. I'm looking at some drawings now that have a little widow's walk up there. I don't know that. Yeah, there is a little one on this one. But,
Isn't this outside of our jurisdiction?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is not something that we should be discussing here.
Okay. Could you advise me what's an appropriate avenue where I can have this discussion, please?
So the building department would be receiving the plans and you can comment on the building permit application. I'm not sure that we need zoning board because some of these do, some of these don't. This one is over 10,000 of upland and meets all the setbacks. So this will be a building permit. Brian Florence, the building commissioner, could answer any questions about the legality of the any feature on the building.
Could you repeat that name for me? Brian, what's Brian's last name, please?
Florence. Yeah,
Florence.
The building commissioner. Yeah.
Florence. Okay, thank you for your time.
Yeah, Florence.
Channel 18, any other public comment on this?
I believe that's it.
Thank you.
So, Darcy, I think we still want to have a certified ecological restoration professional to do the restoration in the wetland area, right?
Yes, I would support the need for having a CERT do that, and then the annual monitoring reports.
And then if there is a change in terms of the contractor, the certified ecological restoration professional, then they need to submit a written notification to you, correct?
Correct.
Dan, is that okay to put this on your conditions?
Yes, that doesn't sound unreasonable. Make sure the job is done right, and I think the project could support that.
Okay. Could I have a motions to approve this project subjects to the following? One, you need to have the contractor need to be certified ecological restoration professional to restore the wetland and monitoring it with an annual report for 3 years. And any change in terms of the ecological restoration certified professional should have a written notifications to the conservation administrator.
And a revised plan for the work limit line?
Oh, yes, the revised and subject to receipt of a revised plan showing the work limit line with the hay bale line.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili,
Aye.
Sampool,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Gilmore, aye. Lee,
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you very much for your careful consideration. Appreciate it.
We have one continuance as Town of Barnstable DPW proposed maintenance dredging of the existing 8-foot deep contoured entrance channel and 10-foot deep contoured embayment channels with dredged sediments used as nourishments on Deck Next Beach as shown on the Assessors Map 050 Parcel 002. This is a continuance from June 13th, and the quorum is everyone. Jimmy?
I'm here. And I'm here with Christine as well. Griffin could not be on today.
Okay. Hi, Christina. Haven't seen you for a while.
Hello, how are you? Good to see everyone, still virtually, unfortunately. I hope everyone's doing well.
Jimmy, last time we are waiting for NHSP letter, which we received dated June 16, and we also received the DMF letter May 24th. So is there anything? Oh, the other thing that we have is the waterway has sent an email saying that they have been working with the DPW on this project. So this project is necessary to address the navigation concern and support, and they are in support of this project. And the natural resource also know that they in the last dredging they have a minor siltations and they don't have many major concern on this project. So is there anything else that I'm missing for this before I move on? Nope.
You're all set.
So is there any public comment on this before I start going over the special conditions?
Seeing none.
None? So looking at this project, looking at the previous dredging project for the deck neck, we have come up with some special conditions. And also, we also incorporated the DMF conditions as well as the DMF calming conditions. So I'm going to read through it carefully. It's quite long, so be patient. 1. The hydraulic cutter suctions dredging machine of the Barnstable County dredging program shall be used in this project. Any change in the types of the dredging machines and method will need to come back before the commissioners for review and approval. 2nd, the best management practices for beach nourishment, parentheses, Mass DEP guide dated March 2007, shall be utilized at the nourishment sites to control sediment runoff and minimize turbidity. 3rd, beneficial reuse of dredging material shall be placed in accordance with the project narrative and plans. 1. Slope as proposed. All nourishments shall have a maximum slope of 10 H versus 1 vertical. 2. Planting and sand fence vegetation shall not be planted, and sand fencing shall not be erected in area of nourishment unless otherwise approved in writing by NHESP. 4. Sand for nourishment shall be clean and compatible grain size as on existing beach. No silt or clay chunks shall be placed on barrier beach. 5. The applicant shall provide the contractor with copies of the order of conditions and approve the project plan prior to the start of any site work. Form A and B shall be signed and returned to the Conservation Office. 6. Prior to starting any site work, a pre-construction meeting regarding to the nourishment component of the projects must take place and shall include a maximum of 2 conservation commissioners, conservation agents, project engineer, contractor, and MEF, if necessary. 7. The area of nourishment shall be staked prior to the pre-construction meeting, showing the work limit for equipment, locations of pipe, and staking indicating the constructed doom edge no closer than 3 feet off the marsh edge, if any. 8. State listed species protections. The applicant has the responsibility of protecting the breeding piping plover and the state listed species of terns that may be attracted to beach nourishment area, as well as their eggs and unfledged chicks. The applicant must ensure a division's approved monitoring and protection plan is implemented at this beach nourishment site for a period of 5 consecutive years following any nourishment activity. B. Prior to the start of the work, the applicants shall provide written notification to the divisions regarding to the arrangement that have been made for state-listed species monitoring and protections at this site. These notifications may include a written contract, memorandum of agreement, or some other form written agreement or acknowledgement with the individuals or organization that will undertake monitoring and protections efforts in the field. This notification shall also clarify the role of the applicant, existing permit holders, and other parties as appropriate. B. Each year, beginning April 1st, a qualified shorebird monitor approved by the divisions shall determine whether territorial courting and nesting piping plover or state listed species of tern are present at beach nourishment area, and if so, shall erect and maintain warning signs and symbolic fencing to protect nesting habit, breeding adults, nest and chicks from disturbance or human-caused mortality. These fenced areas shall be managed in accordance with the Massachusetts Divisions of Fishery and Wildlife document of April 1993, titled Guideline for Managing Recreational Use of Beach to Protect Piping Plover, Terns, and their habitat in Massachusetts. C, at minimum, monitoring shall occur at least 2 times per week until at least July 1st. However, if piping plover or terns are found to be using the site, then monitoring frequency shall be increased to at least 3 times per week and shall continue until all nesting and brood bearing activity has been completed. A report shall be submitted to the divisions each year that summarize the results of the state list species monitoring and the site protection activity. 9, prior to the slurry discharge, the contractor shall consult with the conservation agent at the site to inspect the adequacy of the sediment control adjacent to the salt marsh if necessary. 10, the slurry pipe shall be placed in the salt marsh, nor any heavy equipment the slurry pipe shall not be placed in the salt marsh, nor any heavy equipment be operated in the marsh. Foot traffic through the marsh shall be avoided. 11, a post-dredging bathymetry survey shall be performed by the project engineer, and the results shall be submitted to the Conservation Commission within 6 months at the end of the dredging activity. The conduit cut and the embayment channel area shall be monitored annually for erosion/depositions dynamics for the life of this order and provide a report to the Conservation Commission. 12, an on-site staff shall monitor for any possible siltations as results of the dewatering component. The monitoring shall also occur daily during dewatering. Should silt plumps be observed, the on-site staff shall contact the applicant, the conservation agent, and the shellfish officer. 13, the time of year restrictions is July 15 to June 30th. So the proposed working window is up from October to January 14. This is consistent with the time of year avoidance. 14, the applicant shall coordinate with a local aquaculture operator regarding dredging activity in the order to minimize impacts to those shellfish grant area. 15, a minimum buffer of 75 foot is recommended from the top of the dredge slopes to the nearest eelgrass vegetations. Since eelgrass beds are imperil changes to eelgrass disturbance, a distribution that has occurred since previous dredging events shall be identified prior to all dredging activity. Given that eelgrass has been mapped in close proximity to the proposed dredging track, a water survey shall be conducted within the growing season prior to the dredging to occur. Accurately delineated current eelgrass extended to the purpose of avoiding direct impacts and maintain a minimum 75-foot buffer to reduce the likelihood of indirect impact. Survey should be consistent with methods described in the Massachusetts DMF's eelgrass survey. The last one, 16, a minimum 100-foot buffer is recommended between the seaward extent of the nourishment footprint and the nearest landward edge of any bordering eelgrass. Given the near-shore water of the neck beach nourishment site have previously been mapped as eelgrass habitat in water survey for the water bordering the nourishment site shall be conducted within the growing season prior to the nourishment following Mass DMF survey guidelines. So those are the 16 special conditions that I kind of mentioned and went through. Any comment, Jimmy, on this special conditions?
Yeah, I have two comments on special condition 16, the last one you read. I've already cleared this up with DMF and I sent the correspondence to Darcy, but we do not need to do eelgrass surveys at the nourishment site. We're outside of the 100-foot buffer. There's actually like 230 feet until the next until the closest mapped eelgrass from the toe of our. So I think that we could probably get rid of 16, and then number 3. The nourishment ties into the existing dune grades on the backside, on the Sapur River side of the nourishment. So that's a steeper slope there. But the foreshore on the Nantucket Sound side is the 10-to-1 slope as described.
Okay. I think that should be fine. You take out the 16 and then you modify the number 3.
I sent those changes to Darcy already.
Yep, I did receive those, and we got the confirmation that that's what John Logan stated about the eelgrass surveys. So we'll put those in the file. Thank you.
Okay.
Right. Thank you.
Any other comments from the commissioner before we go to vote? None? Could I have a motion to approve this project's subjects to the special condition that I just read and then modified with the amendment that Jimmy was mentioning on the 16 and the number 3?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Sampu,
Aye.
Moran,
Abstain.
Lee,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Gilmore, aye. Foster,
Aye.
Abadili.
Aye, and my compliments to put those conditions together. Well done.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And we have one easy certificate of compliance, Adam M. Couples, SE3-5801. Could I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili,
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gilmore abstained. Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We have one set of minutes, June 6.
Mr. Chairman, we need to table approval of those minutes. I need, I was the clerk for that, those hearings, and I need some guidance in terms of how to handle what the protocol is in terms of handling this.
Okay. So I'll table this meeting minutes to July 11th. And could I, our next hearing date is July the 11th at 6:30 p.m. And could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Sampu,
Aye.
Gilmore, aye. That's unanimous. We're adjourned at 7:18.